started training with a knife? How old were you?
A very direct and very interesting question. So here in the Philippines, actually, if you start to learn a knife, it's very prohibited. If you learn a knife, especially very young age, and your parents doesn't allow you to learn. However, because of my family heritage and because of tradition and Kali culture, especially the system of Kijersha. So I learned I was when I was at the age of 14. So it's very interesting for me because it's so everything it's learning a knife is not a joke. It's not a sports. So it's a real thing. So if you get mistake, then you get cut. So it's gonna very very dangerous to train with. So that's why we have a very very careful, especially like dealing with that kind of training, because as I said, it's not the name of the sport. It's a real thing, and that's combat. So because of family heritage and family legacy, so I have no choice. So I have to learn that kind of thing that I start very early when I was 14 years old.
Why did you actually pick exactly a knife?
I'm not asking a choice that I learn a knife, but because of the culture here in the Philippines. When you learn the principle and the fighting technology of Philippine culture, you don't have a choice. So you have to learn knife because knife is the expression and that is manifestation of the Filipino culture, the Filipino fighting art. If you don't learn the knife, meaning you don't learn the full system, the principle of Kali. Because knife, as I said, is part of the Filipino fighting art. So you have to, I can say you have to, you don't have a choice, but you have to follow through the the learning principle. From the beginning, you have to learn, the sticks, which is non-edge. That way, for your safety, accidentally you don't get cut if you get mistake. So learning a sticks that will be your a safety procedure or uh, in a way that you are more safe. If you get mistake, you don't get cut. So basically, that will be a part of your training. Then eventually, once you get to master the sticks, then you have to do a transition with the blade. So not only the long blade, then to come up with the knife, then to come up with the empty hands. So Filipino Kali is a complete system. So this is the whole thing. If you want to involve yourself as far as Kali, learning of Kali is concerned, you don't have any choice. You have to learn everything, especially knife, especially edge weapon.
How old were you when you started teaching knife technique and what was the reason?
I start teaching Filipino fighting culture when I was 19 years old, basically. So I teach professional people and I teach security people and some law enforcement community and military community. So those are the people that before I start teaching, so I ask people around and then ask the background check of those people who I teach with, the character of those people. So I'm very careful also because, as I said, knife is not a sport. Uh, Edge weapon is not a sport, so you cannot be able to to teach in the public like any people or anybody. You can't do that because it's like, as I said, it's not a sport. And if the person that has a wrong mentality, then it's gonna be vulnerable to anyone. That if someone knows a knife and he get crazy and he start cutting to the public, or attacking to people, so it's gonna be a problem. So that's why I'm very, very particular about the safety, about the behavior of every person that I teaching with. So every person, my student, that they want to involve training. So I will make sure that their behavior is good and their mentality is good, and they don't use that for their personal advantages. So the reason why I teach a Filipino culture fighting art, because I want to impart the skills and I want to share these skills to those people that willing to learn and willing to protect themselves, and those people that they are professional people. What I have, I share it, and these kind of skills I extend it. That way, I can help people not only for skills development, but awareness. Because nowadays, I can say there is no such place in this world are safe. Everywhere has danger. Would you agree that? Of course. If you can see it, criminality all over the world, you cannot sure that everywhere you travel are safe. But because of you have skills, you have understanding about safety and awareness, because of your training, of course, it is help for them. So that's why those people that involved in training are very happy because of the acquired skills. And that's why this kind of skills is different than other discipline, because most of the disciplines involve sports, but these disciplines are focused in combat. So that's the difference. That is the difference between sports and combat. So combat gives you awareness and security mindset, while sports gives you a sportsmanship. That's totally different. So that's why I decide to teach.
Would you mind please sharing about your system that you teach?
Filipino martial arts. When you say Filipino martial arts, there are many style of Filipino martial arts. There are Filipino martial arts that involves in sports. That is modern martial arts. That is modern Filipino martial arts. Their focus is to promote the sportsmanship. There are also a Filipino fighting art. The focus is to preserve the real Filipino fighting culture and preserve the art, the old or the indigenous fighting art, fighting system in the Philippines. So that's different things between the sports and the Filipino fighting arts, which is involved in combat. I belong to the art that to promote the real thing, the real combat, pure, no uh, no mix at all. So it's everything is pure, no mixture. So my focus is to propagate the real Filipino fighting system.
Would you mind telling about traditions that you adhere to and that you teach?
When you say tradition, it's involved culture, involved philosophy, involved a how the art preserved. of Filipino fighting art supposed to be it's preserved without mixture. It's preserved only for a to defend yourself, you know, or to develop, to defend your family, to defend your loved ones. So that's why most of the Filipino people that who involved in this fighting system, that they want to keep it traditional, the only focus is to train and preserve the real culture and the real practice of Kali. They don't want to learn this for to commercialize the system. They want to train and they want to propagate this art in a real way. That way, people can learn in a good manner and people can learn in a good way. So they don't really get into propagation into sports. So keep it pure and original. We don't water down the system to preserve the culture value and the tradition aspect as far as the fighting system is concerned.
Can you name 5 main elements of your system?
Of Kali, especially in my art, which is Persia, we have philosophy in life. One, we believe in life. We believe in success. We don't believe in failure. We believe in good health. We don't believe in sickness. Meaning we have these three philosophy are very strong. This philosophy is the old philosophy that follows of our great grandfathers up to the present generation. So the 5 elements, as far as the practice is concerned, you only have 5 elements of the training and the system. You have a very strong belief and very strong philosophy. So as I mentioned, when you learn a fighting system, you have to learn a complete weapon categories. First, you have to learn sticks. You have to learn knives. You have to learn empty hands. You have to learn groundworks. You have to learn a swords and daggers, which is 5. So those are the things that you have to consider and learn further, to make yourself expert in this kind of field of training. So that's why when you involve in the system, and if you want to learn further, it's not only 2 to 3 years, 5 years to master. So you have to learn at least 25 years to 30 years to become a master because of, it's not easy to learn. You need a patient, you need a courage, you need a mindset to learn and stay focused of your learning. Because as I said, it's not overnight for you to learn. You have to learn and learn and learn more, in order for you to master this, everything. So it takes 25 to 30 years to become a master of this kind of this art. So you need a patient and strong mindset for you to survive in this kind of training.
How do you start teaching your students?
Teaching the student, it's not to teach directly, to involve training in weaponry. So from the beginning, I teach footwork. Footwork is a very important and very essential for this system because this is the foundation and this is from the beginning for you to learn and if you involve yourself in this particular system, which is the art of Turtal. And I can say footwork is 90%, I can say 70% of the system governed by footwork because Because footwork, as I said, that's the only way for you to survive and for you to get out the way and to come up with your proper transition, to make your technique it becomes effective because of your footwork strategy. That's why when I teach my student, from the beginning I teach footwork, which is the foundation. Second, I teach body coordination. That way, whatever bad habits they have in uncoordinated moves, I can remove that to change into fluid movement. Third, coordination process, which is the body coordination and the footwork. Then after that, then I start to teach sticks, which is, for them to learn a proper angling of the strike.
Mm-hmm.
After they understand the proper angling of the strike, then I can come up a proper transition, function drill and the different other topic. So, which is like empty hands, knives, and so on and so forth. So, but from the beginning, I start from footwork, which is the basic, the base, the foundation, and body coordination and impact weapon. That's how I start teaching.
Does psychological training play a big role in the training with a knife?
Yes, the psychological training is involved as far as training is concerned because first of all, if your mindset is weak and your body is weak, you cannot stand up this kind of training because if you go in advanced training, you have to deal the real knife. You have to deal with a real edge weapon. So you are this. I said this is not a sports or this is not a play. This is a real thing. This is a real combat. So you have to see to it that when you involve yourself, you have to prepare yourself, prepare your heart, prepare your mindset, and it's not easy. So it's involved your psychological aspect, as far as your mindset is concerned. You have to set your mind that when you involve in this kind of training, you have to prepare. Accidentally, you get cut. So you have to prepare yourself, and we cannot avoid you get cut. So you have to, whatever hurt, whatever pain you have, whatever get cut you receive, you have to take it because that's part of the training. So meaning, if your mind is weak or your heart is weak, you have to back out and you stop. That's the thing. So because as I said, if you involve in other martial arts, you only receive a pain, you only receive a bruises, but you didn't get cut. So, but here in Kali, accidentally you get cut because of your involvement in training. That's why your mindset and your heart, you have to being prepared for this. Whatever pain and whatever cut you receive, you have to still go through and follow through and continue your training, which is then the hardcore ship and your heart and your mindset, it's become tough because of this kind of discipline.
Does your system have a certain psychological model?
Logic, philosophy, reason will tell you as far as as a training is concerned. Meaning to say, you cannot be able to establish a proper effectivity of your technique if you don't have three elements of combat: logic, philosophy, reason. Anything disturbance or anything obstacles in you, you have to continue your learning and you continue your training because some people has no commitment. Meaning, when you say commitment, whatever things comes. So you have to push through your training. That way, you can be able to, I can say, continue your learning and skills development as far as your training is concerned. That's why a that these kind of elements is very important. You know, your philosophy in life. What is your philosophy? Your commitment in training. Whatever comes as any obstacle or any difficulties in your life, so you have to continue training because of what you have strong philosophy.
Is there a strategy and tactics in your system?
Okay, in the system, when you say combat, it's not about the techniques. It's about strategy and tactics. What is the strategy? Strategy is a plan of action. Tactics is the mode of attacks of as far as the system is concerned. Meaning to say, if your system is considered as a fighting art, as considered as combat, then it governs of strategy and tactics. Because as far as your technique is concerned, your technique it doesn't work. Your philosophy it doesn't work if you don't have tactics, if you don't have strategy. That's why these are the things that's very important that govern the art. Without strategy, without tactics, everything is useless. Everything it doesn't get work. That's why I believe and in those people that involved in my system, the system it works because of we have very strong tactics, we have very strong strategy. As far as learning is concerned, the system.
Would you mind telling if the usage of a knife makes a difference?
So basically, if you have a what you call subject matter expert, you know, in your system, it doesn't matter actually what type of knife, what type of edge weapon you're gonna use. Basically, you know, if anything is in your hand, either edge weapon or impact weapon, you can use in combat. You can use as tool as a survival tool. It's a question how much skills you have. So skills is a very important, and the effectivity of the system is very important. You know, as far as learning is concerned and learning the student. When the student learn the effectivity of the system, anything he picked up is become a weapon. Even is a weapon of opportunity, meaning weapons of opportunity is a derivable weapon converted into weapon. From non-weapon, then you have to convert as a non-weapon.
Скажите, пожалуйста,
How do you think? Why are there so many people that are willing to teach the knife technique?
преподавать на живой бой?
Nowadays, a lot of people are really interested to learn the art of Kali because they know the effectivity. They know the effectivity because knife combat gives them a real mindset of combative discipline. Especially my art, key tertia, edge weapon is our specialization. So that's why we involve, you know, teaching in, you know, law enforcement and the military. So using this kind of discipline because we know those people are needed this kind of discipline and this kind of skills. And I think they realize that as far as skills and survival, Kali is more effective compared to other disciplines, I think. And that's what I believe also.
What is the effectiveness of the Kali system?
the philosophy and the culture and the mindset of of those people who involve this art very focused and a very I can say very serious of their learning. That's why when you say effectivity of the art is very effective, number one, this art of Kali, we use this for three major wars. American wars, Spanish wars, Spanish war in the Philippines, American wars in the Philippines, and the Japanese war in the Philippines. So this art of Kali, we use this against that wars. So how effective it is now? Most of the military, the major military worldwide, and the special operation and the law enforcement agency are involved in this kind of training. That's why they believe and they knows that this art is effective because those people are trained already and they know what is fitted for them, what kind of training that they looking for. See, that's why I can say the system of Kali and Tertia is effective as far as fighting is concerned because we teach most of the military and law enforcement agencies and law enforcement and military unit worldwide.
Скажите, пожалуйста,
Do you think knife has a future in 21st
в
century?
21 веке?
Of course, since from the beginning, the history of the world in warfare, the times of barbarians, that's the times of cave people, they use already edge weapon. They use already knives. From the beginning of the history of the world, knife or edge weapon is involved in warfare. Until now. So meaning to say, from the beginning up to the end of this world, knife is still there. It doesn't fade away. It's continue and continue evolve. The main thing as far as combat is concerned is weaponry. Edge weapon training is very important. Either you are civilian or military or law enforcement.
What would you advise ones who are willing to start training with the knife?
Заниматься ножевым боем.
If you are not prepared and if you're not ready, do not involve yourself in training of this kind of things because this is a serious things. So you have to involve first in the training in empty hand training, sticks training, and eventually if you're ready and if you're serious enough, then that's the time to elevate your commitment and your training process. As of now, and if you're really involved to make sure that you have enough maturity of your mind, because I said this is not a sport, this is a real thing, this is combat. So we don't want that you guys involved in the training and then you use this to harm people. So we have to see to it that when you involve and the instructor all over the world, he knows about it and they won't allow you to learn if you're gonna use this to harm people. So make sure when you learn it, go into discipline, higher discipline, higher perspective, your direction and being a professional person because involvement of the training is a very serious thing, it's a very serious matter and see to it that everything must be in a proper way, in a higher discipline.
Another thing, move boom, follow through. Break that arm. See the idea? Break that arm. Break that arm. Break that arm. Now I'm here. Follow through.